long time no talk to.
On KNBR 104.5 and 680. Streaming live at knbr.com and on the KNBR app.
Can you capitalize now? You want to get your ball movement going. Ball screen. Switching everything. Spencer on Duncan Robinson to Buddy Hield cutting for the layup. So just keep your movement up. Keep cutting. They can make mistakes as good as they are defensively. How about Buddy 10 in the fourth?
Yeah, Buddy Hield with a fourth quarter spurt, and then he couldn't hit anything down the stretch after he got hot. The Warriors playing the final quarter plus without Steph and Curry. They come home, they play the team with the best record in the Eastern Conference, and ultimately the Pistons proved to be too much for the Dubs tonight in this one. Inside Chase Center, Warriors back home first off the four-game roadie. 131-124 is the final in favor of Detroit. We welcome you in to Dubs OT with JD right here on the Sports Leader. 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. Good evening to everyone, and we appreciate those filing in on YouTube and Twitch. The Golden State Lumber and Showroom text line is open as well. And so we can take your text messages there, your phone calls, as always on this Friday night. Long game tonight, late game tonight. ESPN flexing into this game a couple of weeks ago, and man, a lot of free throws for Detroit. Detroit's one of those teams, and you go against them, there's going to be a lot of fouls both ways. They foul a ton, and they also get to the free throw line a ton. So that leads to sometimes there being a longer game. We've got Grace here at Harmonic Brewing, and we should let everybody know we are coming to you, of course, from Harmonic Brewing. It's great to be back at Harmonic right here in the dirty work corner of the room here. It is a festive atmosphere on this Friday night. Cheers to those out here at Harmonic in Thrive City. And it is a double day out here at Harmonic as our buddy Rick Lemke in here as well. Careful with that. Seriously. Rick's got his Draymond Green Michigan State bobblehead. Draymond Green. This is not one of those like come and see me and I'll give you. No, Draymond bobblehead night. Careful with that. Yeah. No. Yeah. So anyway, 808 KNBR 415-808-5627. We'll get to Giannis coming up here as we get the later start to the show, kind of the latest on just where things stand as it relates to all of that. But again, if you want to weigh on this game, the Warriors competed tonight at a high level. I thought, given what they had, and Steph in his 25 minutes ends up with 23 points before he went out late in the third quarter at what was his normal sub point. Usually comes back at the beginning of the fourth quarter. It was soreness for Steph Curry, right knee soreness for Steph. And so he ends up not finishing the game. The Warriors turning to Pat Spencer with Buddy Hield, Moses Moody, Guy Santos, Draymond and Horford. Melton was in the mix there for Golden State down the stretch. And the Warriors at different points tonight found themselves down as many as 20 and competed to get it to within 3 late. Buddy Hield, as I mentioned, had that 1-3 that rimmed in and out in the closing minutes, would have tied the game at 117, and that was pretty much all she wrote. The Pistons with enough free throws, the Warriors with enough bad possessions. Man, you can see in a non-Steph, non-Jimmy universe, you can see where, this team just has nowhere to go with the basketball in an attempt to create. Melton was doing the best he could. I think this is another one of these DeAnthony Melton games where you look at him and say, this guy is somebody that has to be kept at all costs come the offseason, regardless of what different iteration you have. If they make a Giannis trade, if they don't, if they look to make a smaller trade at the deadline, if they can't get Giannis. And Melton is somebody that needs to be in the 2026-27 plans, independent of just about everything else that the the Warriors look to do, no matter whatever it winds up being. So kind of bookmark that at this point. And, that's something that you have to, I think continue to, as you go through the checklist of different things, Melton becomes somebody that you definitely want to keep. So 808 KMBR 415-808-5627, the number to jump in and join the conversation. We do have Kyle Haar in the Daly City studios tonight. Kyle, how are you doing, my friend? Good to be back out here at Harmonic in Thrive City. Following another Dubs game, we'll be out here on Tuesday night as well. But Kyle, good to see you, my man.
Yeah, good to talk to you at a very, very late time. This might go down as one of the all-time latest starts for Dubs OT right here.
I told him, Julia. I told him. Anyway, you can't. There's one rule at Harmonic. I'll let you behind the curtain here. Just a little bit, and there's a lot of people, by the way, at Harmonic having. I'm not going to name names here, but Harmonic's a great place. It's the best place in Thrive City to come before and after the game, have a brew, grab some food, enjoy the atmosphere. But the one thing you cannot do, you cannot bring your own. You cannot BYOB. It's that, and so we had be careful. When I was telling our guy to be careful with that. I said, be careful with that. Or you're gonna get sent packing. You're gonna get the early heave ho, and my guy wasn't listening here as we started the show, and he had to be shown the door at least. Yeah, at least temporarily.
This is no Super Bowl party, at least not yet.
No, yeah,
no Super Bowl party here.
Can't bring your own. Definitely, you cannot bring your own into Harmonic in Thrive City, but it is a great time, and again, we appreciate. We got Julia tonight, and we've got Grace tonight. That is an all-star, really a Hall of Fame crew. Mike was in the house earlier. We got a chance to see Eddie and all of that. So 808 KMBR, we move on back to the game. The offense was rolling for Golden State throughout the course of the night, really up until the point in which the game became a clutch game. By the way, Warriors played their first clutch game since January 5th. The Warriors had not played a clutch game in almost 4 full weeks. You got to go all the way back to the game against the Clippers in Inglewood that first Monday coming out of the holiday weekend to begin 2026. That was the last time the Warriors played a clutch game. I thought in the clutch, that's where the offense bogged down some. I thought once they got down big, they were able to get a spark from Pat Spencer and Guy Santos and DeAnthony Melton, and Buddy Hield got hot before he couldn't hit anything. Brutal night for Brandon Pajemski. No other way around it. Brutal night for Quentin Post tonight as well. And my goodness, you look at this thing, and tonight was a night where the Warriors did turn the basketball over more than we've seen them when they've played well throughout the course of January, turn the basketball over. But all in all, it's a better team that came in, and with the Warriors down Jimmy and then obviously eventually down Steph for basically the final 16 minutes of the game, it winds up being a game where they could have had enough if they could have executed a little bit, but ultimately I think you have to separate yourself when you look at this team without both of their star caliber players in particular on offense, and it's going to be a tough ask down the stretch in these games to be able to execute. Now, all that said, the game was lost with the defense before that point, and the game was lost with the defense going back to you give up 45 in the first quarter, you give up 32 in the second quarter, you give up 31 in the third quarter, and then you look up and the Pistons end up with 131 for the night, but only 23 in the fourth. But the Warriors in the fourth quarter able to score the basketball, but again, not enough down the stretch to work in conjunction with trailing by 13 going to the fourth quarter, and just not enough stops throughout the night, and then not enough offensive execution in the final 5 minutes once they were able to make it a clutch game. All right, let's get to the YouTube chat. We'll get into the latest on Giannis because that really is still the story of the day. But again, I think the overarching theme from this thing is the simple fact that, I mean, the Warriors, for there to be a continued watchability, and I've given the Warriors a lot of credit, Kyle, for the way that they've played since the Jimmy Butler injury, right? They really, I thought Steph and Draymond played like they were in a fog the first game at home against Toronto, which was the last home game before tonight. They competed in Dallas. They won the first of the two against Minnesota, punted on the second one, and then competed really effectively in the game that they won in Salt Lake City on Wednesday night. And so you look at that, and I think they deserve credit for, but the compete for me for the Dubs is based on the fact that I think this team is hoping, being led by Steph when he's out there and Draymond when he's out there, with the hope that they make a move. The fight, the push is to inspire. Obviously, everybody knows what's going on with Giannis, but I think these players are pushing toward, led by Steph and Draymond, the Warriors to maybe the Giannis thing falls through and gets kicked to the summer. Maybe Giannis winds up going elsewhere. I talked about it during my Hit with Dirty Work, the fact that Milwaukee holds all the cards here, and the Warriors are all in on willing to give up basically everything and anything that Milwaukee could potentially want. But now they're waiting on Milwaukee. And beauty in the eye of the beholder in terms of the draft capital and assets in terms of players the Warriors have versus Miami versus what Minnesota potentially can do, the Knicks, or do they get a better offer come the summer, which would, in my mind, effectively rule the Warriors out of the sweepstakes at that point if it winds up getting to the summer. All of that being said, let's say Giannis winds up elsewhere come Thursday. Well, the reality of the situation at that point is I think this team, with the way that they've played in terms of the overall competitiveness, and again, we've seen bad defense at times, we've seen good offense at times, we've seen the inability to defend, as we saw really in Salt Lake City. We saw a lot of that. We saw a lot of that tonight. We've seen the Warriors attempt to go about it different ways here in the aftermath of the Jimmy injury and being out for the year. But I think the reality is the competitive spirit is to push the front office to, you know what, if Giannis doesn't work out, go make another move. Make another move that helps this team finish the season strong, because I don't care how competitive this team has been over the last 2 weeks, week and a half, 10 days. It's hard to believe it's actually only been 11 days since Jimmy went down on the 19th and the game against Miami. The reality, though, is as hard as this team has played and as much as they've competed, they're going to need some semblance of a push, even if it winds up not being the Giannis move. They're going to need something. What the bad will eventually outweigh the good from what we've seen here. And, oh, by the way, Steph has got to be the number one overall concern here. Not that he's sustained a season-ending injury or anything like that tonight, but it's the fact that Steph is having to work too hard over these last 10 days. And you can really see it when you watch in person. You can see it even in watching on television in the games that he's played on the road trip. Teams are really making him work. And Steph having to play at the level that he's going to have to play without even a little bit of help. Again, separating for the moment and the purposes of this conversation, Giannis, that separating from that, this team still needs a move. And it can be a move that doesn't mortgage everything for the future and the potential to get Giannis, but it's something that will set this team up for the remainder of this year to have a more realistic shot at just locking in a play-in tournament berth and not completely falling apart while being a piece that it can either be moved in a Jimmy Butler trade if he goes for Giannis, or being somebody that you can look to have, that you can look to have if Giannis goes elsewhere, that you're going to put with Jimmy Butler. So all of that, if you wait essentially for Jimmy, well, you can augment the roster and make it better if you choose the path of waiting until Jimmy. Hey, Beerman, Windhorse just said he thinks the Bucks won't trade Giannis until the summer. We shall see. And that really is where that part of the conversation starts. It's the Warriors' best shot at being able to make the Giannis move, as I've said here now for the last couple of days, is contingent in my mind about the Bucks being willing to have some urgency and not wait around. And look, the reality is with the Warriors, Heat, Knicks, Timberwolves, potentially the Hawks, maybe eventually OKC or Houston or San Antonio getting in the mix, those are the summer portions. You run the risk of Giannis gaining the leverage of tilting the thing toward where he wants to go, and the Bucks losing their leverage as to what they have the potential to take back in return. So Milwaukee, again, holds the cards, and I think we're going to hear a lot of different reports over the next 5-6 days, depending upon what the offers wind up being. And again, I think the Warriors are in a disadvantage if it goes to the summer. I think Miami's offer can get better. The Knicks offer can get better in the summer. I think some of the teams that are out currently could look to get in the mix in the summer. Some of these teams like San Antonio and OKC who are good. Maybe OKC goes on and wins another title, and they're like, we're good. We don't need Giannis. Maybe San Antonio comes up a little bit short, and they want to package a Harper or a Fox or a Castle with a bunch of picks, and they could get Giannis to put next to Wemby and still, oh, by the way, have a bunch of their young core, which is a pretty darn good young core. So, again, I think the Warriors are up against the clock here. I would be understanding if the Warriors didn't want to give up their shot in the summer by maneuvering and using a lot of the draft capital that they would have at the deadline elsewhere, and then basically taking themselves out of the Giannis sweepstakes while Giannis is still potentially available. But I think that's going to be the thing that the Warriors are really going to have to sort through here as we get through the next 5-6 days and get to Thursday when the trade deadline ultimately comes. Appreciate that one from Beerman, official Dr. P. What's going on, Doctor? Move Kuminga now. You don't need Kuminga in the Giannis deal. They only need to trade Butler and Podziemski and their picks. That's the obvious one. And I think Buddy Hield potentially would be somebody that the Warriors would look to move to get some salary. I think to get some salary relief. But Kuminga's the one. You can still have the 4 picks and the 3 swaps and all of that. You can have all of that stuff in the summer and Jimmy Butler's contract. Kuminga, to me, should be moved no matter what. Kuminga is the one that should be moved no matter what at the deadline, even if it is for a marginal potential upgrade, or you look to move some salary around. That's where the Warriors are going to have to be flexible and be willing to pivot. But yeah, the big question is, do the Warriors, do the Bucks look to potentially make the move now, make the move later, and figure it out, from that point. Again, is there a preferred destination? Does the preferred destination mean that the Bucks are more willing to wait because the preferred destination that Giannis would want to go to is a team that their offer from Milwaukee's standpoint would be to be able to be grown and made better to where Milwaukee would look to want to do a deal, let's say with a New York or a team potentially like that. But regardless, I'm with you, Doc. I think you look to move Kuminga no matter what the situation is. All right, Diggum, I'm starting to feel this season is in serious danger. If they don't make any moves, it's going to be a free fall fast. That's the point that I was going to finish that I don't think I ever did. I firmly believe that the fight that the Warriors have had here in 4 of these 5 games, again, throw away the game they punted on in Minnesota, but to me, the fight and the competitiveness that they've shown has been to implore the front office and ownership to make a move. To me, if the Giannis thing goes by the wayside and they don't make a move, I think they are going to free fall. I think they absolutely are going to free fall, for sure. I think they are for sure gonna free fall at that particular point. Hey, easy. We're on the air here, guys. We're on the air here. Ian, it's more if the Bucks want Kuminga in the deal or not. Yes, that's a fact. That is a fact. But again, you gotta be able to look to decipher that and know. The one thing you can't have, we got Pistons fans in here tonight at Harmonic. Even like we got Pistons fans in here. Careful, just not like legit, like old, like that. That looks like a 1989 classic. I don't. Just don't swear. That's all you got. Take your. It's been a long. We got. This is actually probably one of the. This is probably one of the better opponent fan turnouts that I've seen, to be honest. Like it. I mean, you know, there are a few teams from down south that tend to do that. Malice at Harmonic here on Dubs OT. No, that was somebody. Somebody said the Malice at Harmonic. Oh no, I know. No. What was your name, by the way? Justin. Justin. One more time, Justin. Say hi to the folks. Yeah. No, the Pistons have got a good team. I was gonna say that, and I was gonna say I think the Pistons could go to the finals. There's no question about it. But nice meeting you, man. Appreciate you.
Complaining about having a 10 or 11 man rotation.
That's right.
But those are champagne problems.
Exactly. They're complaining about their rotation, even with the Pistons. See, it happens everywhere. It happens everywhere. No, absolutely, man. Cheers. Have a good night. It happens everywhere. No malice at Harmonic. Although, Rick's got to chill. My guy, we got our BYOB guys dropping bombs. No, nothing that Kyle's had to use the button with yet. But everybody's in a good way. All right, let's continue forward here. 808 KMBR 415-808-5627. The number. JD needs security on the weekends. Yeah, tonight is kind of a wild one. Tonight's kind of a free for all, Fozzie. There's no doubt about it. And yeah, I do, Beer Man. I do, Beer Man. Look at me. I'm putting comments up. Look at we've changed our setup a little bit. We can't do that. I'm not going to do. We've changed our setup to where I have a little bit. We both have control of the comments. I don't know if well, look at this. Do I want to do the Kyle? I don't know if I want to do it. I accidentally hit the wrong one.
This is like Steve Kerr and Joe Lacob going back and forth on. Oh, should we take Kuminga or should we take Wagner? Should we take Wagner? Should we take Kuminga? Too much ownership here.
Too much ownership. I think I got to leave the driving to Kyle's clicks, to Kyle. But it is nice when you like scroll over to the board and you're like, ooh, what is this? Like I'm kind of a fidgety scroller, so I'm kind of fidgeting around and it's like, oh, I think if I push this, I can put the comment on the screen. Anyway, we don't need that here from Harmonic as we roll here. Dubs OT on the sports leader. Why would Giannis want to leave that bleep show in Milwaukee to come to this bleep show in the Bay? It's not a bleep show if he comes, estimated. You'd be playing with Steph Curry. It'd be Steph and Giannis. But that is the question. Does he want to go to New York? Does he prefer Miami? ultimately, for as much as the Warriors have held on and held out for the ability to be in the mix, to be a part of the Giannis sweepstakes, it would be a pretty deflating thing to have Giannis, kind of like KD did a year ago right at this time, say, yeah, I'd rather go here, or I'd rather go there. Because, again, this has been the move that the Warriors have made no other moves for. And so I think that's the, that's the part. But you go all in. You shoot your shot. And that's what the Warriors are doing right now as it relates to Giannis. And again, they have to hope Giannis will want them, and they're going to have to hope that the Bucks want their offer, and that's how this thing is going to go. Hey, Beer Band, the Bucks don't want any of these scrubs. I mean, tonight was not a Pajemski night, to be sure. Tonight was definitely not a Pajemski night. 1 for 8, -7, 11 points, 4 turnovers. Probably should have closed the game with Pat Spencer, who was a +7 and part of that group. But you could have had Pat play the whole fourth quarter and basically just ride it out because they had cut the 13-point lead down. But tonight was not a Pajemski night. Tonight was not a Quentin Post night. My goodness. And tonight, other than the little hot streak there at the beginning of the fourth quarter, it really wasn't a Buddy Hield night. But honestly, I think the Warriors are at a point where it's not about the players as much as Pajemski would be kind of a throw-in at a around $4 million player. It would be about the potential for Kuminga, and it would be about 4 first-round picks plus another pick swap in post-Steph years. I mean, they're talking about 28, 30, 32 being a part of this. They want the picks, Dr. P. That's exactly right. They want the picks, and that's what would be the appeal for Milwaukee in this whole thing as they look to potentially make a move and do this deal as we get closer to the trade deadline, which is going to be coming up on Thursday. All right, 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. Let's go ahead and let's take a quick timeout. We'll reset. We'll do more clicks coming back on the other side. Again, lively evening here at Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City as the Warriors lose this one to the Detroit Pistons, 131-124. We'll get to those that are calling me a Pods stan. Not really. He can go in the deal. Pods can go in the honest deal. Pods can go in the honest deal. Let's ride. But yeah, not a good Pods night at all here against the team with the best record in the East. All right, quick timeout. We'll come back. We'll get to the phones. We'll get to the Golden State Lumber and Showroom text line. It is a lively house here at Harmonic. Dubs OT with JD. We're rolling on right here on the Sports Leader.
Live from downtown.
Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang!
This is Dubs OT with John Dickinson on the Sports Leader. Streaming live at knbr.com and on the KNBR app.
And now Steph Curry is not going to return to the game, so he is out with right knee soreness. And so Steph's been battling that, played through it in Minnesota and Utah.
Yeah, Stephen Curry unable to return. Final 16 minutes of the game. Warriors comeback bid falls short. They worked what was a 20-point lead at one point, but 13 at the start of the fourth quarter, all the way down to 3. They had a great Buddy Hield look when Buddy Hield was hot, and it rimmed in and out. And the Warriors still hung around down the stretch, but ultimately Detroit wins this one. 131-124 is the final. So the Warriors lose in their return home, coming off the 2-2 road trip. They are 27-23, so back to 4 games over 500, 50 games in the books, and the trade deadline now inside a week away. Steph, right knee soreness. Doesn't sound at this point as if it's too serious. We'll hear from Steve Kerr with the latest on that. But he was really laboring tonight. You just watching him move, and it's incredible the level that he's able to play at. He looked off. He just looked like he was feeling it with a lot of different movements tonight. He had the and one on Thompson, which was an unbelievable drive and shot. And he was really kind of feeling around, you could tell, trying to walk it off and sort through. And then he got his normal sub right around the 4-minute mark there in the third quarter, went right to the locker room, and ultimately did not return. So the Warriors don't play tomorrow, don't play on Sunday, don't play on Monday. Their next game isn't until Tuesday. So this is actually the longest break, I believe, that the Warriors have between now and the end of the year between games, other than the All-Star break, which is obviously coming up. That'll be a week here in the next couple of weeks. In about 2.5 weeks, they'll be at that time of the year where they'll get a week off. But other than that, the 3 days is almost unheard of, and the Warriors won't have that again at any point between now and the end of the year in April. So 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. We continue to talk about the potential for the Warriors to make a trade involving Giannis, the Giannis sweepstakes. Warriors in that mix, of course, with San Antonio. I'm sorry, not San Antonio, with Miami, New York, Minnesota, potentially Atlanta, but San Antonio, Houston, and Oklahoma City out for now, but potentially lurking in the summer if it winds up going to that point. I know there's been some reporting or opining from Brian Windhorst tonight as the game was on ESPN that he believes it's more likely at this stage that Milwaukee pushes this thing to the summer. But again, I think we're going to hear that back and forth 3 or 4 different times between now and the middle of the day on Thursday when ultimately a decision is made. So 808 KNBR, let's get to Danny in Vancouver, and then we'll get back to the YouTube chat here on Dubs OT. What's going on, Danny?
Hey, JD. One rule and one rule only when you're at Harmonic, they have to learn. No profanity. That's just one rule they got to remember, right?
No profanity, and I that's what I like to throw out. No, you guys are good. You guys are good. No profanity, and you can't bring your own in. That's the only other one. You can't bring your own in. You got to order from the bar there, Danny. What's on your mind tonight? Either the game or Giannis. We haven't talked about Giannis yet.
Both. Just a couple of thoughts on the game, and then just some thoughts on Giannis. So, it's so hard to watch now. Certain games is another really hard first quarter to watch. It was just like a layup line. Steph was getting cooked, but as you observed, he wasn't right today. So, but I thought he really got cooked in the first quarter, and I know he was, still sort of trying to do everything he could on one leg, but it's just hard to watch. Regarding Pods, my observation, JD, is he's just not a starter. He seems to have sort of thrived when he was coming off the bench. I was curious what you thought of that. But he's just not a starter. He just doesn't, and especially with Jimmy gone, it's really noticeable. He tries to play a little hero ball. He just doesn't have the skill. I noticed Moses played a little hero ball in the fourth quarter, and it just wasn't good. I give him credit for fighting to come back, so that was great. At least they made it competitive, so it's a little easier to take. But if they hadn't had
it
wasn't
it wasn't a fake comeback. Sometimes you get down 20 and it's like, oh, it's an 8-point game, and then they'll put it back up to 15 or 16. This got down to 3, and they had a shot to tie it, and even after Buddy missed that shot, there were a couple other possessions. I mean, the Warriors kept actually getting stops at that point.
Yep.
Got called for some fouls, but they just could not in that moment, even though it was a good offensive night overall. In that moment, they just could not execute and really had nowhere to go other than DeAnthony Melton trying to drive and get fouled or hit a layup himself.
Yeah, and then they started to key on him too. So he played. He's been playing so well, but I thought he was struggling a bit at the end.
He's not a number one option. If he's a number one option, you're in trouble, and he is a very good player.
I couldn't agree more. Regarding Giannis, my thoughts are that he will, unless he demands a trade. In my opinion, Milwaukee should wait. I mean, they should wait until the summer to trade him. I think they'll get more. I'd love to see him on the Warriors. I mean, we got nothing to lose now. Let's go for broke. But I think unless he demands a trade, I mean, he just is, and it's going to really sort of tear things apart. If he does, maybe we have a chance at him. But otherwise, I think Milwaukee. If I was Milwaukee, I would wait. Last comment. I thought New York doesn't have any trade capital to give Milwaukee, JD. If you could comment on that.
Yeah.
I thought they made that terrible Bridges trade, I thought.
Right.
So they didn't have any capital. So love to hear your comments. Thank you again for a great show.
Yeah, I mean, they have no first-round picks. They would have to try to trade Bridges and others. They'd have to try to trade Karl Anthony Towns to get picks, essentially, to throw in the deal. And so it gets very tricky for the Knicks, who don't really have any young prospects and don't really have any other, any first-round picks at this point. So it gets real tricky. The question, though, becomes, is that where Giannis, wants to go, and does he ultimately put pressure on Milwaukee to send him there at some point? But I kind of view the Knicks as behind Minnesota and the Warriors and the Heat. I think the Heat and Warriors are neck and neck. And again, I've said it a few times, the beauty in the eye of the beholder as to Miami having a better package of young players when you look at Ware and Hero and Yaki Jonas and Jaime Jaquez. They can do that, and a couple of firsts plus some pick swaps. Like they have the young. They don't have as many firsts that they can offer, but they have better young players than, say, Pajemski and Kuminga and Moody or Will Richard or whoever else you want to throw in that deal. So. But again, in the offseason, it allows for more time for New York to maybe do some things to set themselves up now for the offseason, but also more maneuverability in the offseason to look to make a move that could potentially get them back in the mix. So that's kind of the thought on some of those teams. I don't think Atlanta – I mean, everything I've read about Atlanta so far is that, like, Jalen Johnson would need to be in the deal. And to me, if you're Atlanta, you want to pair Giannis with Jalen Johnson. Like, that would be the whole point of making, like, what's the point? You're just getting older at that particular point. So, but they own the Bucks pick. You've got San Antonio who owns another pick. You've got all this stuff going on. As it relates to that, not quite. But we'll see what ends up happening. But as far as Pajemski, though, Danny, I think you nailed it. I think you nailed it. annoying, that every time he winds up in a position where he's asked to do more, he just tries to do too much, and he winds up pretty bad. Like Podziemski, when he just plays and is a role player and is a bench guy, and you're not really counting on him to do anything, he plays pretty well. And he is a player that does impact winning a lot in a positive way. Anytime you ask him to up his game because somebody else is out, or you throw him into this position now where he's a starter, and look, he was a starter last year down the stretch when the Warriors went 23-8 for the most part and was able to do it effectively. But I think Danny makes the point that was with Jimmy. And, I was one that said give him a shot to start because you want the connectivity in the lineup. The problem that keeps Podziemski in, though, right now is the DeAnthony Melton minutes problem. And I think at some point the Warriors, and maybe it even winds up being Tuesday, because you play Tuesday, so you get 3 days off. Then you go Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, All-Star break. So you go every other day starting Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Monday, Wednesday. 5 games. You got a day off in between. I know why the Warriors have been reluctant to do it, but I think you've already committed to Horford being in the starting lineup now when you weren't going to do the thing where he's not going to play back-to-backs and he's on a restriction which was around 20, and now they've bumped it up to 24. I think you just have to start DeAnthony Melton and move Pods to the bench and just separate him quickly. Play Melton with Steph, play Moody, play Draymond and Horford. It basically is the best of, right? You get 2 stabilizers on the court in Horford and Melton for not having Jimmy anymore. You put basically your best 5 right now with the team that you have together on the court at the start. And then you figure out the rest of the rotation off of that. You sub Melton out. You get Podziemski in there somewhere. You get Will Richard in that mix. You got to play post because you got to play post, and you're playing Gee right now. Maybe Kuminga, if he comes back on Tuesday, can be a little bit in that mix before the deadline. But I think the time has come to where even if Melton is at this point where he's going to be on a minutes restriction that's, say, 25, I think you have to figure out where you basically are playing him. You're basically playing him at the beginning of the game because the Podziemski thing is it's just not working out. And it's especially, I think, not going to work out against better teams. Because that was the other thing on display tonight. Like, the Warriors have been, for the most part, competitive here since Jimmy's gone down. It absolutely is not sustainable against good teams. And I know Minnesota's a good team. Minnesota gave a pretty terrible effort. And, again, obviously there are a lot of things going on in and around the city there. And I think everybody was kind of feeling the weight of that in Minneapolis over the weekend. But Minnesota has a lot of games where they just lay an egg at home. We talked about it on Sunday on our stream-only Dubs OT. Like, they'll have games where they just come out and they lay an egg. Warriors took advantage of that. As the games down the stretch start to mean more after the All-Star break, the Warriors have no shot against good teams 9 out of 10 times. And, even a team like Detroit tonight that was really cooking, the size – part of why the Warriors were able to get back in the game was Detroit was missing a lot inside in the second half. They were missing putbacks. They were missing layups. Like, they were not as hot shooting as they had been throughout the other portions of the game. But good teams are just going to handle this Warriors team. And so I think you have to put your best players on the floor from the jump, figure out your bench from there. And I think at this point that doesn't – again, I was open-minded, let Pods have a shot. But now I think you have to go with your guys that really matter, and I think that means DeAnthony Melton has to be somebody that goes into the starting lineup. And to me, you ride it out. You got the last 5 games here with no back-to-backs. You've got the first, I think, 3 games out of the break before you get a back-to-back after the 3rd game. Warriors play Boston and Denver at home, 2 days off in between. And then they have a game, and then they go and they have a back-to-back, I think, Memphis and Dallas or something like that at the end of February, New Orleans and Memphis. And so at that point, maybe you go all in on the first 4 and you give Melton and you give Horford a day off at that. And you know what? This is even if you get Giannis too, right? Because we had the conversation, and I mentioned this to the guys on Dirty Work. If you wind up making a Giannis trade, basically all your young guys are gone. And you would hope you can keep Will Richard and Moses Moody, but Moses Moody's probably gone in the deal. So at that point, it's going to be even more important that you start Melton and Steph and, obviously Giannis and Horford, and you're going to have to figure out who your 5th is. Again, in a perfect world, you'd be able to keep Moody, but you may not be able to. And then you have to go from there. And I actually think Draymond, if Draymond's not in the deal, Draymond would be a candidate to, at that point, come off the bench because you'd have Horford and Giannis with whoever your small forward is, Melton and potentially Steph there. So that's the long-winded answer of saying I do think it's time to move on from Podziemski as far as being in the starting lineup, because it's just not something that's going to be sustainable, especially against good teams. All right, let's get to the YouTube chat. Let's continue with more Kyle's Clicks. 808 KNBR is the number. Bennett Roth checking in with Giannis nursing a calf injury, Steph with a nagging knee issue, and Jimmy out 9 months. Trade for the Greek Freak, then shut down all the stars and get hella healthy for 26-27. Well, Giannis isn't coming back till like March. I mean, that's the other thing. So, no, I don't think you tank or anything like that. But Jimmy might be in the deal. If Jimmy's not in the deal, Draymond's in the deal. Like, that's the other part. Like, look, you're making the deal no matter what if you're the Warriors. Like, let's not get it twisted. You're making the deal no matter what. But if you make the deal, you're not going to have Giannis until March 1st in all likelihood. Like, you're looking at having to play potentially 4 games with a depleted team, no Giannis from the trade deadline to the break, and then at least the first 4, if not 5 after. Like, you're going to have to play 10-plus games in all likelihood without Giannis, even if you make the Giannis trade, and in all likelihood, Moody, Pods, Kuminga, gone. Buddy, potentially gone. And you might be trying to factor in a Bobby Portis or a Kyle Kuzma. Yeah, I said it. Because here's the one thing. The Bucks dictate the terms to the Warriors. Mentioned it on Dirty Work. We'll mention it again here. We'll talk about it tomorrow on Just Dubs, 10 to 11 here on the Sports Leader. We'll talk about it coming up on Tuesday night for our next show here at Harmonic in Thrive City. But the Bucks hold all the cards. We want all your picks. We want we want JK, Pods, and Moody. We want you to take Kuzma and Bobby Portis. And the Warriors are just going to go, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, okay, yes, sir, whatever you say. Like, it's just going to be, it is going to be, that is where this thing sits. Or guess what? You're not getting Giannis. Like, and I don't even think there's any shame in that. I think the Warriors know that. Again, it's why they've held on to everything for as long as they've held on to everything. But yeah, to me, you let Giannis get healthy. You play with the guys that you have in the meantime. Maybe you rest Steph in back-to-backs. But to me, you want to get Giannis in early March, and you want to go for it for the last month. Because if you look at barring this team going 1-9 or 2-8 in the next 10, which again might be on the table, because even if you get Giannis, he ain't playing immediately, so you have to factor that in. But unless you go, and even if you do go 2-8, you still can be in the play-in tournament, given where things stand. So why not get Giannis healthy, figure out a way to play in the final month with what you have, and then take your chances at getting through the play-in tournament. And can you imagine? And I'm not saying the Warriors would win, Kyle, but could you imagine if all of this goes down and the Warriors get Giannis and they end up, let's say, 8-9, they get into the playoffs, and they're playing OKC or Denver, and it's Steph and Giannis. Like, nobody would want that. Nobody would want, like, even if it is Melton and Horford and Draymond, and they don't have any other shooters other than Kuz and Portis.
We might have to go to the New York Knicks Tom Thibodeau rotation where we play like 6 or 7 guys, and give the starters 45 minutes.
Well, good luck with that, because Draymond's going to be 36 at that point. He will have his next birthday. Giannis is going to be coming off these injuries. You've got Horford's going to be 40. Robert Brand, it'll be OKC. Yeah, later. Well, yeah, if you're 8, it would be OKC. My point was more if you're 8, then you get a chance to move up to 7. Even if you're 8, you get a chance to move up to 7. If you're 9, you can only be 8, and you have to win a couple of games to get to that. But Fozzie, JD on a 10-minute rant off one YouTube comment is the most impressive thing I've ever seen. Are you new here, Fozzie? That's like every comment. Kyle knows it's true. Big ups to the guy who jumped up behind. I don't know if everybody caught that. Somebody in a Steph jersey jumped up behind the window here and was like trying to get on camera. Job well done. But no, that's every. I'm not going to go 10 minutes on yours, but that's everybody. Yeah, come on in. All right, let's get a couple of more here. What's up? If the Bucks push the Giannis trade to the summer, when does this mean? Then does this mean the only move is a trade of JK? I was going to say, yeah, come on over. Yes, yeah, come on over. Hold that thought. Keep that up. What's your name? Slavio. Hey. Nice to meet you. Hi. I said, come on in. You don't have to be creeping. Just come on in. Have your buddy come on in too. That's okay. Just there's only one rule. Just can't swear. Oh no. No. I just can't swear. Come on, yeah. Just can't swear. No, I mean, some people say they're not going to, and then we had to, yeah. Actually, you're right. Two rules. Don't spill your beer on the no. I just want to say what's up. Yeah. Good to meet you. This is we're on YouTube. We're on KMBR. I love YouTube. We're on the Sports Leader. We are on YouTube. Yeah, no, we're on YouTube. Yeah. Oh, you do? Awesome. Yeah, no, yeah, we're on YouTube. We're using the StreamYard. What was your name? Mark. Nice to meet you. Come on over. Say hi to the people. Say hi. Yep. Hi to the people. We appreciate it. Yep. Great night. If you can come over to this side if you want. Yep. Come over to this side. What's your name? Dave. Nice to meet you, Dave. No, that's okay. That's okay. Thanks. Yep. Say what's up. Appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by.
Warriors fans.
Yeah, big Warrior fans. What do you want, Giannis? No? Yes. Yes, of course. Yes, trade the house. So Jimmy or Draymond? Who has to go?
Look, I love Draymond, but trade Draymond.
All right, Draymond has to go. It's tough. It is tough.
I mean, neither. If listen.
Well, it's got to be one. You can't. It has to be one.
Oh, sorry. The Warriors.
For Giannis, one has to go.
Let me ask you a thing.
Sure.
10 years ago.
Okay.
The value of the Warriors.
It's exponentially more. It's yes.
And right now it's what?
It's I can't even remember. Yeah, it's a lot. It's exponentially more. Right. It's a big time. Yeah, no doubt. Well, and it's all because of the guy on right here. It's all because of it's because of the 30s. Now the 30s, not you. Jimmy has more upside in the future, but so there you go. I'm gonna let them debate it. For just a second. No, you're good. Dig'em, if the Bucks push the trade to the summer, does it mean the only move is JK? they would hold on to the picks until the summer. Yes, that's what I think. That's what I think they would do. You would look to hold on to the picks, kick the can down the road as far as Giannis, and look to trade JK to be able to help the team in the short term while also adding a player that fits with Giannis or fits with Jimmy if Jimmy winds up coming back if you don't get Giannis in the summer. That's the play. That's the play. That's true. It has never happened. It has never happened. Let's take a timeout. 808 KNBR the number. We're going to take a quick timeout. 415-808-5627. We got Eddie's here as well. Say hi, Eddie. Say hi. I tell you, it's a festive night out here at Harmonic in Thrive City. We appreciate everybody. Dubs OT with JD will continue here coming up on the Sports Leader.
Warriors. It's the sounds of Dubs OT.
I can see the headline now. Kerr says Warriors better without Curry.
No class, no ball.
I want to get my joy back. I'm happy here, off the court.
Now here's John Dickinson.
All right, welcome back. We're in the 11 o'clock hour. Dubs OT with JD here on the Sports Leader. It's Dubs OT after dark in a major way. Kyle in our Daly City studios. It has been a scene out here at Harmonic at Thrive City. Who says people aren't excited still about the Warriors? It is a good night at Chase tonight, too. The crowd was into the game, I thought. Kyle, I want to thank – so here we're going to do some chats. We're going to do some texts, and we'll also hear our sounds at Dubs OT. We're going to hear from Steve on Steph's knee. We'll hear from Draymond on his podcast on Giannis. We'll hear more from Anthony Slater on the Giannis situation, as well as Brian Windhorst. We'll get to that in just a second. But I also want to thank Slave, Dave, and Mark, who were our trio here that stopped by to say hi before the break, the guys that were doing the jumping jacks behind the window here. Also, Slave, a big fan of Julia, who works here at Harmonic. So it is truly a small world. And for those of you watching on YouTube, our buddy Slave works for YouTube. So it's all connected. I said, hey, I think we can encrypt to get some.
Yeah, put our live stream at the top
views.
of the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah. Let's fix that algorithm, brother. No, I'm kidding. No, good night. We appreciate that. It's been a great night. We've got BYOB here. BYOB. Careful. All right, that's good. I appreciate that. Without the language this time. I know. I appreciate it. You've had a couple slip. I had one slip. That's okay. Nobody heard it. No, it's all good. Nobody heard it. All right. So let's do. What do we want to do? Let's do some clicks. Let's do a couple clicks. We'll do a little click sandwich here in this segment. Clem Ackers, could Steph, Lacob, and Dunleavy visit with Giannis, or is that considered tampering? You're not allowed to officially do that unless the team in which he plays for allows it. And I don't know, maybe they end up All-Star break. Maybe they wind up doing some kind of meeting. But again, the trade deadline is going to be before that. So it's the timing of that is something that I don't think can happen. And I sure as hell don't think it can be something where they all sit down on Zoom and do kind of a formal meeting there. Now, look, Steph can FaceTime him. Who's going to know? Who's going to know if Steph gives Giannis a call or sends him a couple of texts? Players can kind of do whatever they want. But once you get into the ownership and the front office, then that's when it becomes a little bit more along the lines of tampering. Ian J, JD, would you give the Bucks everything, JD, all the picks, all the swaps, and whoever they wanted? It would be a really tough pill to swallow, but I think you have to do it. And I have concerns about the calf injuries, because calf injuries can lead to Achilles. And again, I would do the 4 picks. I would do the 4 first-rounders plus the swap, plus Pajemski and Kuminga. I think it makes more sense to look to have Jimmy be the guy that goes. I would offer to take back Portis. I would offer to take back Kuzma. I think the Bucks would insist on that. And so I would look to do it that way. I would try to keep Moody and Will Richard. And you may not be able to, but those would be the 2 that I would try to keep. If you said, who among all the young players could you do it for? And that's what I would say. Fozzie, no trade for Giannis happens without Steph being a part of it. Sorry, guys, Giannis a pipe dream. Well, no, that Steph would not be a part of it. He might sign off on Draymond going if the Bucks prefer Draymond over Jimmy and his $54.1 million contract. But I truly believe this is a Milwaukee. Do you want to do it now? We need you to do it now. What can we do, Milwaukee, for you to do the trade now? Do you want Jimmy or Draymond? Jimmy? Okay. Jimmy and da-da-da-da-da. Draymond and da-da-da-da-da. 4 picks. We'll give you the max. Roll with it that way. And we'll give you the swap. We'll take – oh, you want us to take Kuzma and Portis? Okay. Like, it literally is, I think, that level if you look at where the Warriors are in the relationship with the Bucks. Miles Turner, I'll take the Miles Turner contract. They can keep Kuzma. Again, the more players you throw in, the more players potentially that you'd have to take back. If it's Jimmy for Giannis as the starting point for that deal, because those two basically cancel each other out on salary, I'm with you. I would – you may have to take Kuzma, but I think the Warriors would be willing to take Miles Turner, a younger player. Again, he signed, a 4-year deal, can help as a stretch big. Obviously, he's played with Giannis this year. That is something that I think the Warriors would potentially be interested in. All right, let's do a couple of more here. Particles, pods and post tanking so no one will want them on a trade. Man, that was ugly. And Quentin Post has really not been able for the most part to hit a shot for quite a while. And so that's, again, if the Warriors do make the deal, maybe Post winds up going in the deal if the Warriors are going to take back a stretch big like Bobby Portis in return, knowing that they also have Horford. Because if you do that, Post is somebody that becomes redundant and or basically a third stringer if you look to go down that route. All right, let's keep it moving here in the chat. LM, why would the Bucks want Pods if they can just ask for Melton? They make almost the same salary. Yes, but the Bucks are in a rebuild. And I know Melton is only 27, but the Bucks are not going to want DeAnthony Melton as part. That is where I do think the Warriors can hold out and say no. That they're going to want a young, interesting player over a vet that's a free agent, because Melton will go away. Melton would not re-sign with the Bucks in the offseason if the Bucks are a team that's more focused on rebuilding and trying to acquire draft capital and all of that. So I think the Bucks would want Pods over Melton, and Melton would be off the table along with Horford. And again, whoever they don't want between Jimmy and Draymond. You jive. What good is Giannis if they hold Steph like a defensive back? Hey, how you doing? What's your name? Dan? Come on over, Dan. Come on over. Grab him. Come on over. Come on over. It's that kind of night. Dan, say hi to the folks.
Hey, everybody. Big fan of the show.
Appreciate it.
Every morning.
Appreciate it. We love it. We love it. Thanks. Thanks for listening. What was your name? Beautiful. Murph and Marcus said right here. What was your name? You can use it. Scotty and Novato. Appreciate that. Thanks for stopping by, enjoying the brew. My stance. Careful. My stance. It is. My stance is it's whatever the Bucks want. It's whatever the Bucks want. And I think it's Jimmy or Draymond for salary purposes. Jimmy and Giannis actually make the exact same amount of money, and Giannis make the exact same amount. So yeah, they would be taking Jimmy basically to have his contract come off the books after next year. Then you would have to add all 4 of your picks, 4 draft picks. That's a lot. Kuminga, maybe Pods. It's and when I say literal, it's 4 picks plus maybe another swap of a pick, plus JK, plus Pods, and then if it's Jimmy, and Kuminga, you might have to take Portis and Kuzma back. So that's it. So yeah.
This is my own question here.
No, do it.
How many years? 1, 2, 3.
How many years?
Have left?
Okay, great question. Great question. Well, he's under contract this year, next year. I think he's playing 2 more. I think he's playing 2. No, I think he's playing 2 more after next year. At this point, I think he's playing 3. 3.5. 3 plus what's left of it. This year, next year, 2 more. So that's 3 full years. Oh, that's a good one. I think it's none. I think it's none. I don't think it's coach or analyst. I think it's right off into the sunset and be a family man. It's up in the air. I've said it. They're asking about Steve Kerr for those listening and also following along. I think it hinges on what they do at the deadline. I think if they don't do anything at the deadline and they flounder, then I think he's out. And I think he knows that he has a little bit of leverage. And, hey, if you want me to be here, you need to do something. I appreciate it. You guys have a great night. Thanks for stopping by. Always a pleasure. And again, we encourage it. Don't be shy. Sometimes I get locked in and appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate the fellas here for stopping by. What if they told JD to repeat what he said all over again? Yeah, they did do that. That's why we try to keep it moving. We got to be nice to people. It's 11 o'clock on a Friday. It's 11 o'clock on a Friday. All right, let's do 2 more. We'll get to our sounds, and then we'll do some texts. It's funny. I've gotten out of the habit of setting up the mic because, like, it was like, hey, you can set up the mic, and you can actually have somebody like, you can grab the mic and make a comment like a caller would. By the way, Kyle, on-air production meeting here. We're gonna have a quick on-air production meeting. I'm considering. I want to know what the chat thinks of this idea. I'm considering for our YouTube only shows moving forward here, and we don't have one for a while. But once the Giants start, we'll start. Once we get even into spring training, we might have a couple here and there. Our YouTube only shows. Would the people be interested in? We put the link up, and if you want to come hop in the stream and basically be on camera and ask a question, as opposed, it won't be for everybody, but Dubs OT open mic. Again, we're going to test it out with the stream onlys. Probably a stream only away game as opposed to a stream only home game. But I don't know, Kyle. I'm toying with the idea of we post the link to join. And again, you would feel we don't have to put anybody in that wants to come in and create problems. And we can throw them out, right? It's just like you can screen them. I don't know. I'm toying with that idea.
I think it's a fun idea. I also think it can get messy like really easily.
Okay.
But
again, stream onlys.
Right. No. Yeah, stream onlys. Yeah, we could kind of,
stream onlys.
Mess around.
So I don't know. Would the people be interested if we had a shareable link to where you could hop in and join literally join the conversation? Like the Dubs OT community.
Yeah. Well,
I
also think there is a way on our end that we can monitor who comes on and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, no, you definitely can. Like nobody would come on without us putting them on.
Right.
And we could toss people in any moment. Like we have the ability to do that. But I don't know. I'm thinking. I'm thinking, once and only once. Once and only once. Exactly. So we'll see. Again, something I'm just kicking around the idea. All right, Pat H., I say no. We tune in to watch you and Kyle. Fair enough. Group FaceTime with JD, Robert Brown. Again, and look, I get it. Being on camera is not, like the whole camera thing's not for everybody, right? Like we have the chat. We can read the comments. We can flow with the show. Like it's, we have the ability. It's now that I've got the ability to like click around here, it's very easy to remove. Like I could remove myself. Look, there's Kyle. There's Kyle. Oh, now I'm back, but I'm on the wrong side, and I don't know how to flip it. So Kyle's going to have to flip it because I don't know.
All right, JD, watch this magic right here. Watch this.
Look at that. There you go. So you can flip it. So anyway, I won't play with the buttons anymore, even though someone has decided that I have the capability. All right, let's do a couple more, and then we'll get to our sounds at Dubs OT. Pods was rolling as the secondary ball handler off the bench, says John Jay. Kerr is so elated to give him the starter minutes. I don't think they really had a choice. Like, he had been playing well. Jimmy goes down. Like, they wanted to start Moody at the 3. Like, it made sense to give him the opportunity. And you know what? He hasn't played well with the opportunity, so I think it's time to go away from it. Like, I just don't think it has to be any more. I don't think it has to be anything other than that. I really don't. Rich Ray, only if Overnight Dave joins. Well, Overnight Dave can join with Kyle. But I guess if we're doing a stream only, Kyle might not be at his normal spot. Anyway, again, just kicking around the idea. Just kicking around the idea. No, nothing firm at this point. All right, let's do our sounds at Dubs OT. Let's run through it. We'll wrap up with some more comments here in the YouTube chat. But let's go ahead and hear from Anthony Slater. And this was from today on ESPN, this afternoon on ESPN. And again, this is the latest on just where the Warriors are at as far as interactions with the Bucks.
Mike Dunleavy is making calls. The Warriors are aggressive in this pursuit of Giannis, which is really no surprise. But they've contacted the Bucks in the last week and let them know that, you know, if it gets to that stage, that a substantial offer will be on the table from them. And you know, with some of the teams that are interested in Giannis, you know, they have superior player packages, right? You know, Tim was talking about New York. You're talking about Karl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby. But if Milwaukee prioritizes draft picks, this is a time for the Warriors to strike, because they've been protective of their post-Steph Curry era picks, but this is the type of guy they've always said they would go after with those picks. In 2028, 2030, 2032, those 3 picks are available for the Warriors to trade. That's when Steph Curry will be 40, 42, and 44 years old. So there's a lot of appeal to that. Is that enough for Milwaukee to make the decision now? Potentially. That's what the Warriors are going to try to find out in the next week.
And I think that's what the Warriors are going to have to try to find out. Can they make the deal so good that Milwaukee does it now, doesn't wait around? You can get Giannis and then figure out the rest of it as you get through the rest of this season and then into the offseason, as far as trying to really build a team around Steph and Giannis with the pieces that you have left. And look, then you scour the league for players that would want to join a team that I think many would believe has the framework of being a title contending potential club, but aggressive on top of aggressive on top of aggressive. I think we're going to hear more about the Warriors being front runners between now and Thursday. I think we're going to hear more about the Warriors being out of the mix, or the Bucks going to wait till the summer. Like it's lying season in a big way, and it's posturing season in a major way. As it relates to trying to get the best possible haul if you're the Milwaukee Bucks. All right, let's hear next from Brian Windhorst on if a deal gets done before the deadline, what would have to happen?
And you look at Golden State. If there's a deal that's going to be made before the deadline, in my belief, Golden State is the team to make that deal, because the other teams have to get third and fourth teams involved. And that's why Golden State is going to be probably the most aggressive between now and Thursday. Their best position is doing the deal before next Thursday.
So there you go. And again, we've said it. I know tonight, I guess Wendy had said that he thinks that as things stand currently, it's less likely that the Bucks make the move at the deadline. Again, it makes sense. It's the prudent thing to do if you're Milwaukee, to wait, but waiting comes with a risk, and that is the risk that Giannis can start to, with 1 year left on his deal before he can opt out, he can start to shift his attention toward where he wants to be, and he can tell the Bucks, hey, I'm not going to go here, or he can tell a certain team, I'm not going to re-sign here, and that limits what teams potentially have to offer to get him. So I do think there is a time pressure. It's not as simple as just wait if you're Milwaukee and you'll automatically get a better deal. It's wait if you're Milwaukee and you might get a better deal. But I think the way you get a better deal would be a team that currently isn't in the mix, San Antonio, OKC, potentially Houston, jumps in the mix, as opposed to some of these teams that are already in the mix at this current current juncture of where things stand. All right, let's hear from Draymond Green. This was on the Draymond Green show. Draymond, of course, you knew he was going to address it, and Draymond, we'll see if he winds up talking tonight in the locker room, and we'll play some of that for you tomorrow on Just Dubs between 10 and 11. This was Draymond on Draymond's pod on all of the rumors, which obviously some of them are potentially related to Draymond being thrown in a deal.
As of yesterday, everybody's talking Giannis. Does the Warriors make a trade for Giannis? This is not the podcast where you find that out. I actually don't have a clue. I have no idea. I know what you know, which is exactly what I saw and read, which are the same things that you saw and read. So I have no clue. I did see that Giannis is preparing for an exit from Milwaukee, whether that's at the deadline or the offseason. Apparently it's inevitable and it's going to happen. So how does that change the trade deadline? Well, everyone around the league even will be calling Milwaukee, even if you're not calling for Giannis.
So, yeah, there you go. Don't ask Draymond. But Draymond obviously very aware of where the NBA chatter sits at this point, with 5 days basically now to go before the trade deadline, and we'll see what the Warriors ultimately do. Could Draymond be in the deal? Maybe. I mean, it's Draymond or Jimmy, as we were talking about with our friends who stopped by here earlier in the segment. It's Draymond or Jimmy that have to be in the deal, plus Kuminga, plus others, and that's how you have to roll from there. All right, let's hear one more from Steve as it relates to the game tonight. This is Steve Kerr on Steph, who didn't finish the game. He went out about 4 minutes to go in the third quarter, did not return. Here's the latest on Steph from the head coach.
I think he's okay. I don't think it's anything major, but we'll have an update tomorrow.
Is that something bothering maybe even going into the game a little bit?
It was the knee that kept him out of the game in Minneapolis, and so it's been nagging him, the last week or so.
Yeah, it has been something that, again, if you've watched the last week, and that was the technical reason for him, missing when they rested Draymond and also Melton and Horford in that second game of the back-to-back at Minnesota. But Steph has not been moving as well really over the last week plus. And so I know the Warriors are going to have a practice tomorrow. At least that was the original plan, to have a later afternoon practice, and I think take Sunday off before coming back and practicing Monday in the lead up to Tuesday and the game against Philly, which is the next one on the schedule. So we'll see how that all plays out. But I think you look at where things are right now, and they got to get Steph to the deadline, but they also have to get Steph to the break, to the All-Star break. They got to they need Steph to try to maximize everything they can here for these last, 5 games to go. Philly, Phoenix, LA, Memphis, and San Antonio before he gets a week off, and hopefully this roster, if you're a Warriors fan, has the potential to change between now and then. So nothing too serious. A little concerning when they say update tomorrow, like we'll release an update tomorrow. That's a little strange. It's like, does he have to go get an MRI? Maybe. And so we'll see. I didn't see anything. Kyle, did you see anything about an MRI for Steph tonight? I didn't see anything as far as him needing an MRI tonight as I was kind of scanning through. So we'll await that tomorrow. But again, doesn't sound like it's anything serious. All right, final couple of minutes here before we get to fun with numbers. Quick scan of the Golden State Lumber and Showroom text line, 707. Would the Warriors also have to take Giannis's brother in the trade? Yes. Thanasis would be there. No question. Thank you to that. A different 707. JD, have you been drinking Kool-Aid? No playoff team is going to fear Giannis and Steph. They're both aging and crippled players, writes the 707. Get real about the current state of the Warriors. They are an incredibly weak team. That from Pete. Pete, we always welcome you chiming in. I don't think they would be an incredibly weak team. I would not put them in title contention, but any team that would have to face Steph and Giannis in the first round of the playoffs would fear that. That is just reality. That's just reality. 2-2-4, game ball to the gritty Warriors squad, depleted against an elite Detroit team fighting back to take them down to the final minute of play. If Curry doesn't get hurt, the Warriors roll the best team in the East. That from the 3-6-0. And again, appreciate everybody chiming in on the Golden State Lumber and Showroom text line. All right, let's get our final installment of Kyle's Clicks here. It's been a lively chat tonight. Estimated eyes. I should start working on my help defense. Estimated, you're gonna be out there. You and Giannis and Steph. Estimated could play power forward on this team, no doubt. If you're above 6 feet tall, you could play power forward. Although that would change with Giannis, because Giannis would be playing a lot of power forward. He would be the new power forward, and sometimes maybe even small ball center for the Warriors if he comes into the equation. That via Chico State 14. Thank you, Richie. Damn it, my first game at Chase, and they almost won. Came back to believe. Thank you, Richie. Appreciate you.
Wait, hold up. Did Richie make this YouTube account like 2 hours ago? Because he's wearing that same exact fit in his profile pic as he was wearing.
I think so. Richie, and yes, thanks for stopping by, Richie. Appreciate you. Absolutely. I think he did. You might have to zoom in on that. I don't want to zoom in on it. I don't want to zoom in on it now that I'm like in the stream where I could actually knock us off the. I can actually end the stream accidentally now, which happened one time. Did you do that last year, Kyle? Did we do?
I think I did.
I think there was an accidental like button bump, and we ended the stream with like we were pretty late in the show, I think, but that was a wrap. Warriors are getting Giannis just like how the Giants got Arson Judge. Robert, no, say it ain't so. Arson Judge, that's pretty funny. JD, that 2026 draft pick is looking real good for the Bucks. Bruised knees for Steph would be perfect. I know Tim Kawakabe threw that out there of the SF Standard. Hey, can you tell the Bucks you'll rest Steph and Giannis for the rest of the year? Make it a 26 pick with 28, 30, and 32. The 26 pick will get better. Maybe you don't have to quite give up something else that you would want to give up in that mix. But no, I don't think you can formally talk about that. But you can do, again, you're not going to have Giannis till March. So it would be a move where the Warriors' best chance at contending would obviously be 26-27 as opposed to what's left of this year. JGR 250. F it. Tank and hope Bossman gives us a good ping pong ball for next year. But your pick. So you're saying no Giannis? Because if it's Giannis, your pick's probably going to Milwaukee. And they would be hitting the ping pong ball if you take it. So that has to be a no Giannis. That has to be a don't worry about Giannis type of a move. Giannis don't want no part of this crap if Dre and Pods are a part of it. Well, Pods is going in the deal. Pods would have to go in the deal. Again, it's either Draymond or Jimmy that would have to go. And if it's Jimmy and Kuminga, you potentially would be taking back a couple of bad contracts. Bobby Portis and Kyle Kuzma. Wouldn't that be something? The Warriors get Giannis. They have to take Kuz. I have a feeling Giannis will come back sooner if he gets traded. He just looks dejected playing for the Bucks. That's absolutely how it looked in the last game that he played as Denver without 4 starters were working him in Milwaukee. And then he was playing through this calf thing, but then they took him out. And Doc took him out, remember, and then he self-diagnoses 4 to 6 weeks. I guess it could maybe be a little bit quicker, but for now, target date I would say around March 1st for a potential Giannis return. I will not watch him shoot free throws, JD. I will not. Just don't count, Little Miss Trouble. Just don't do the count.
That's Estimated's YouTube burner account.
Estimated has a YouTube burner? Oh, my goodness. Do they ever talk to each other? Apparently, do they ever have chats with one another?
It's just them two in the chat going back and forth with each other. Yeah,
that's pretty good. It's pretty good. All right, let's get a couple of more here, Kyle. You tell me how many we want to roll with. February 5th is Dubs Nation Christmas Day. Rhoda, Dub Nation Christmas Day. Well, it is unless you get Cole in the stocking on February 5th. Which what would be Cole? Cole would be no Giannis. Don't do anything because you're waiting for Giannis in the summer. And then it's basically, JK. Let's play JK the rest of the yikes. That wouldn't be fun for anybody, including Jonathan Kuminga. All right, let's get to our final comment here on Dubs OT.
Now, time for the Dubs OT comment of the night.
Fozzie with a big win. I asked ChatGPT who the Warriors will trade for before the deadline, and it said Jordan Poole. Man, has anybody lost their mojo? Like Jordan Poole has lost his mojo? Holy cow. That's tough. That is absolutely tough. Yeah, Jordan Poole. Man, he benched by the Pelicans. Wild times. All right, let's do the thing. Let's play the thing for our fun with numbers, and we'll get out of here and come back tomorrow around 10 a.m.
This is Dubs OT with JD. Time now for fun.
I'm a fun guy.
With numbers.
No, I'm just having fun.
On KNBR 104.5 and 680. Streaming live on KNBR.com and the KNBR app.
All right, fun with numbers tonight. Warriors lose to the Pistons as Detroit gets the job done 131 to 124. Some notes here. Warriors now 17-8 at home, so 16 games to go at home, 16 games to go on the road as they fall here to 27-23, 50 games into the year. This snapped a 4-game winning streak versus Detroit that the Warriors had. Pistons and Warriors will play again on March 20th in Detroit. Warriors 124 points, 17-7 now when they score over 120. Been a rare loss for them. First clutch game for the Warriors, as we mentioned, since January 5th. They had not had a clutch game in 12 straight, 8-13 now in clutch games. Warriors 31 assists, second straight game with 30 or more assists. The turnovers do Golden State in, though, tonight as they wind up with 31 points off the turnovers for Detroit in this one. Warriors had a good night from their bench, 51 points, outscoring Detroit 51-44. Warriors ended up with 10 more steals, but again, the defense is going to have to be better. The Pistons put season highs on the Warriors for points in a quarter, 45, and in a half, 77. So the defense not on point tonight for Golden State. Now they'll have the off day tomorrow, off day Sunday, off day Monday before playing against the Philadelphia 76ers coming up on Tuesday. Steph ends up with 23 and 25 minutes, left with 4:08 to go in the third with right knee soreness. And Draymond ended up on Michigan State bobblehead night for Draymond Green. 15 points, 6 boards, 7 assists. One of the better Draymond games. He did foul out, but one of the better Draymond games against his home area team tonight in the Pistons on Draymond Green bobblehead night, as everybody got the Michigan State bobblehead tonight at Chase Center. Guy Santos, we mentioned him as a spark. Guy with 16 in this one. as he really helped the Warriors comeback bid, as did Buddy Hield, who couldn't hit a shot and then got hot there for a couple of minutes and then couldn't hit a shot down the stretch in this one. Hield ended up with 10. Moses Moody ended up with 11 points. All right, that's going to do it for us. Appreciate everyone in our Daly City studios. It is a Friday night, so no overnight Dave for the Friday night. We've got who was helping out tonight? We got Chips McCarthy. Or is he doing the overnight?
He's doing the overnight
tonight.
And
so Chips
Gunner.
is Dave because it's Friday. Gunner. All right. So big thanks to Gunner. Big thanks to Kyle. Big thanks to everybody out here at Harmonic. What a scene! I don't know if we might have set a record for fan appearances here. The Stop By Say Hi crew. Huge thanks to Julia and Grace, which is just the absolute A++ team. You don't get a more dynamic duo here at Harmonic and Thrive City. Mike here earlier, Eddie, everybody kind of hanging out. Great day. Mike's part of the dynamic trio. But, yeah, when it's a Grace Julia night, it's a great night. So we appreciate them. Back here on Tuesday, following the Warriors and the Sixers. And back tomorrow here on the Leader, 10 a.m. to 11. We'll get a little Just Dubs. We'll dive even deeper into the rumors and what this team has to do with the trade deadline now 5 days away. We'll talk to you then right here as the Warriors lose 131-124. Dubs OT on the Sports Leader. John Dickinson.
No, God! No, God!